Hello, my friends. Today we're learning Bobby Basra Daf Ches. We're going to start 5 lines down. In the middle of a sugya, we learned in the Mishnah that if someone has a bori, you have to keep a distance away from that bori not to cause damage. The question is, if the first one who's building the bori, does he also have to keep away or not? And we had the Machlekes Abai and Rava regarding that. So the Gemara is going to discuss over here all different types of rayas prove this sugya. Says the Gemara, Toshma marchikim es azroim ve'es hamachreisha ve'es meraglaim and akoyso shlosh tefachim. We learned you have to keep away. You can't plant the seeds or plow the machreisha or the meraglaim, the pea, from the wall 3 tefachim. Tamadi kakoyso is mashma. The whole reason why you have to keep away because of the wall. Or like a koyso, if there's no wall, samach. You're allowed to put it close, and the first one who does it doesn't have to be marchik. Only once there is something, then you have to be marchik. So l'chorei have a raya tower shaila. So then we're loy. Kilek koisanami loy somich. Even if there's no wall, you're not allowed to put it close. Velomai kamash malon. What's the chiddush? Why did it say that it's a koisol? Hakamash malon. The metunta, the wetness. Koshel koisol is bad for the koisol. Says the Gemara. Toshma ve'tarichaim, the grinder of the wheat, gimel min hashachov, 3 tefachim from the bottom part of the richaim, shen daled min harechev, that's 4 tefachim from the top of the richaim because it's narrower 1 tefach. Tamadik a koisel, the whole reason is because the koisel you have to keep away, or like a koisel somich. The Gemara is similar to it's like a koisel nami loy somich. Even if there's no wall, you're not allowed to put it by the border. You have to keep a distance. Why did they tell you koisel? Hokamash malon, the tyra, the shaking of the grinder is kosher koisel. It's bad for the koisel. Toshma kamalisin v'satanu shloish. You have to keep the oven 3 tefachim away from the wall. Minakilya, that's the bottom part of the oven. Shendalin minasafa, that's 4 tefachim from the top. Tamadik koisel or like koisel samoich. We have a raya again. So you also not allowed. Why did it say that there's a koisel? The habla that the heat of the oven is kosher koisel is bad for the wall. Toshma come and listen. A person is not allowed to open a shop of bakers where there's always a fire. Of painters that you also have to have a fire on. Underneath, he lives in the bottom floor, and his friend on the top floor has a storage of wine, of wheat. Are not a place where you keep the animals and it makes a bad smell. So the whole reason why you're not allowed to do it is because there's oitz on top already. Or like oitz of it. You're allowed to do it and you don't have to say, oh, I'm going to have to keep our chokka. So we can see raya that if there's no hezek now, you don't have to be choishish for the future. So the Gemara, you're a shiny. Dira is different than the Dira. You're allowed to do all what you want, and only if you're ready. If there is something else that you mazik, then you're not allowed. They can I'll bring your raya that Dira is different. The Tony Allah that the Brisa says on this din, if you have the pen of the animals already there before there was a storage upstairs, you're allowed. And this was not said about all the dinim that we brought before. Why that? Why didn't it say that if there was no koisel you're allowed? Elomai, you could see a Dira has a different din. Toshma, come and listen. A person's not allowed to plant a tree next to the field of his friend. You're only allowed to, you have to keep 4 ames from the border of the field. The Tony alone, it said in the Brisa, Dalit Amoy Sharmu, the reason why you need these 4 ames, because when you're picking the grapes, you need to come with the animals to carry the grapes, etc. And you need 4 ames, and if you're going to do it on the border, you're going to go into your friend's field. So says the Gemara Diuk, Tama de Mishum Avodah Sakarim, because by a tree that a special din Avodah Sakarim, or lav Mishum Kedei Avodah Sakarim. If you wouldn't have this din that you need, this fact, that person needs to work around this tree for ames, Samach, he allowed to. Rafal Gavdir Kashoroshim, all the Churi Yushoroshim damaging your friend's field, the Komaske, that they're causing damage. So the Churi could see that person doesn't have to be marchik. So the Gemara Maskin and the Mafsik Tzunma, that is a big rock between the 2 fields that the Shiroshin don't go past. So the Gemara Dekinami, Diktoni, or Toshma, some Girsois, that we're saying, Oyo Godabin Asayim, it said that the wall in between, each one's allowed to put next to the wall. And then, what do we see from that? well, how could you do that? The shiroshim going underneath. So we gurus over here like the Marashal, Ochanami Bitsulma also here, it's talking, it's another kasha. The Toshma, it's a kasha. The Olechur, what do they help to the fence, the roots going underneath? The Gemara is Ochanami Bitsulma, that there's the rock that's stopping the roots to go through. So the Gemara, Yochiv, that's talking about whether the rock, Ema Sefer, let's look at the Sefer. If the roots go into your friend's field, you have to dig 3 tefachim into the ground to put them deep inside. That shouldn't cause issues for the plower. If we're talking about whether the rock in between my bow or some, how did the roots get there? They're the big rock blocking the roots to go through. So the Gemara, this is chat in the Brisa. If there's no rock, and a person's roots are going into his friend's field, so he has to he has to dig them into the ground. They shouldn't cause problems to the plow. Toshma, you have to keep away the tree from the boil of water, the pit of water. 25 amma. The whole reason why you have to keep away is because there's a hole over there, a bor. So you're going to cause damage. Or like a bor, if your neighbor doesn't have a bor, it doesn't have a pit of water. Samich, you could put it at the border of your field. You could plant a tree. So then more loy. Even if there's no bor, you're not allowed to put it at the border. You know why it's telling me that goes to the bor? The ad chofei amod until 25 amod of the shiroshim umaski, the shiroshim go, the roots go and cause damage, labor to the pit of the water. So then more, this is chat, aim a sefer. Let's look at the sefer of this brisa. If there was a tree before the pit of the water, doesn't have to cut down the tree. If even if there's no bor, you're not allowed to put it next to the border. How are the chayich to have a tree at the border? You're never allowed to put a tree at the border. So the Gemara, like our Papa is going to say a territorial base. That's talking about loikeach. So also here is talking about loikeach. What did that mean? That someone had a tree and in his field, and he sold his field to half the field to someone, and now the tree's on the border. So you're not allowed to plant it on the border, but now you sold it. You sold the half the field. It became in the border. There's nothing wrong with that. Toshma, come on, listen. Marchikim is a mishra. A mishra is a place where you put in the flax. You soak the flax. Minayerek, if your friend has vegetables on the field next to you, vesakrishin minabatzolim, it's a type of vegetable from the onions, vesachardel, and the yellow thing they eat with a sausage, chardel. Ejun, I forgot the name. Vesachardel minadvorim. When you grow the chardel, you have to keep away from the bees of your friend because they cause damage for the honey. The whole reason is because the neighbor has vegetables. If he doesn't have vegetables in his field, you're allowed to put it by the borders. We have a raya that if that person doesn't have a koisel or something that you're causing damage, you're allowed to put it on the border. So the Gemara, no. Even if there's no vegetables, you're not allowed to put it on the border. This is the chiddush. To tell you that these things don't go good together. Not yerek with Mishra, not Christian Vabtolim, and not Chardel and Dvarim. Something more Yochiv, if it's Pshat, Ema Sefer, let's look in the Sefer of what we learned. It says Rabbi Yossi Matir Bar Chardel, he lets with the Chardel his Matir to put it next to the bees. Because the person of the Chardel could tell the person of the bees, you're telling me to keep my mustard, Chardel is mustard, to keep away the mustard away from the bees. You keep your bees away from my mustard. They're eating my mustard, they're ruining it. So you're also causing me damage. If it's talking about even if the person doesn't have dvarim, you're not allowed to grow the mustard close to the border. How are the chayich is going to come and say, oh, you're causing me also damage? The Chatchila is not allowed to do such a thing. So the Gemara, it's talking about, like we said before, a person who had bees, or a person who had mustard, or he had a mishra, and then he sold half the field to his friend, and now his friend wants to put the bees or grow the yerek, etc. Now we have an issue. So the Gemara, if that's the case, my time in the Rabbanon, what's the time of Rabbanon? When the person put the chardal, they did nothing wrong, it was all his field. When he did the mishra, what's his fault? What did he do? Even more so, my time in the Rabbi Yossi, why did the Rabbi Yossi only argue about the bee case? Afilu mishra v'yarka, even in the case where he put the water for the flax and the vegetables. Nami, also in that case, we should say that he could say, oh, I have no issue. There's no issue in such a case because when he did it beheta. Rabbanon hold that the mazik has to keep away, and even though that when he did it, put the chard over there, he wasn't a mazik. Now that he's a mazik, he has to keep away and pull back a little bit. So the Gemara, if so, Rabbi Yossi argues to hold that the one who's getting damaged, he has to keep away. If the nizak is the one who has to keep away, so even there we should say that the nizak it's his problem. I'm allowed to do my mishra wherever you want, and if you're damaged, keep away. It's not my business. So the Gemara, Rabbi Yossi hold that the mazik has to keep away. This is Pshat and Rabbi Yossi Rabbanon. They both hold that the mazik has to keep away. So Rabbi Yossi is telling Rabbanon, Teinach Mishra v'yarka, very good, we understand by the Mishra, where it's causing damage to the vegetables, the animaski hani, that the water of the flax is ruining the vegetables don't cause any damage to the water of the flax. In the case of the mustard and the bees, they both cause damage to each other. So why are you coming to complain? You're complaining against one of them. They both could tell each other, you causing me damage. So the Gemara of Rabbanon hold, the answer is Rabbi Yossi, it's very maski. They don't cause damage, the bees to the mustard. Why? If we talk about the seeds of the mustard, the bees can't get so deep into the plant to get to the seeds. If we talk about the leaves, they'll grow again. So it comes out that everyone holds that the mazik has to be marchik kisatzmo, and that the Gemara asks, the Sover Rabbi Yossi ala mazik marchik kisatzmo, that the mazik has to keep himself away from the nizak. But now we learned in the Mishnah, Rabbi Yossi ma'afal pisha barikodemes loilon, even if this person has already the pit of water, the well of water before this person planted the tree. He doesn't have to cut his tree. Why? Each one's allowed to do whatever he wants in his field. I could plant a tree. If it causes you damage, it's your problem. Keep away. So we could see clearly he holds the nizak has to keep himself away. So the Gemara Rabbi Yossi ala nizak svirle. Rabbi Yossi holds the nizak has to keep away. And if you're Rabbi Yossi enochinami, in all these cases, you can't have a taina, nor on the mishra, nor on the bees, nor on the chardol, and not also in the case. Not the Mishra from the Yerek, and not the Christian from the Batzolim, and not the Chadar from the Dvorim. That's where he holds, because the Nizak has to keep away. But when Rabbi Yossi spoke to Rabbanon, he holds you could never have a taina on the Mazik. The Nizak has to keep away. But he's saying Lefishi Toschem. It's kasha, so let's see it inside. Lefi what I hold, and the one who's getting the damage has to keep away. Even in the case of the water and the vegetables, you can't have any tinus on the person who's putting the flax in the water. But if you're saying that the mazik has to keep away from the nizak, I can understand over there the animaski that the mishra causes the damage. That the Mishra causes damage to the Yerek, but the Yerek doesn't cause any damage to the Mishra. In the case of mustard and bees, they're both causing damage to each other. So why are you coming a tiny to me about the mustard? I'll come to you a tiny about the bees. Your bees are eating my chardol. So the Gemara, the bees don't cause any damage to the mustard. Why? If we talk about the seeds of the mustard plant, they can't get to it. If we talk about the leaves, they'll grow again. And therefore, there's no complaints about the bees. Only the bees can complain about the mustard, that the mustard are causing my honey to be bad. Thank you very much.